Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm very happy to be here with you today. I know we're very short on our time, Dr. Alam, so I'll move through this fairly quickly. So today, I'm essentially going to talk about what I call the fat platform versus the lean reality. And for many of you, you're likely to wonder what the fat platform is and what the lean reality is. So let me briefly explain. In the past, we often referred to developing and non-developing countries, and the new age technology, and in the 21st century, they're referred to the minority wealthy and the majority lean countries. And so today I'll briefly talk about the critical features of how we need to realistically engage stakeholders to solve the problem, the gear of the strategy, and then we'll move to questions. So when we look at poverty and we look at the United Nations, and we've seen this now for the last 40 years, it talked about solving poverty, and now they've moved to ending hunger by 2030. And so when you look at zero hunger, it goes beyond more than just talking about ending hunger. There's an absolute need to be able to show what is truly happening, because I believe that this is a pivotal moment for the wealth-fortified, arrogant, fat minority leaders to demonstrate factual results in the context of making a difference in the lives of many in relation to ending hunger by 2030. We are now in 2023, and if you look at global leaders and making commitments at the FAT platform, it sounds absolutely fabulous. However, the reality of the situation is that the minority rich do give financial aid to the lean majority. However, money in and of itself does not end hunger. What happens is the minority rich stand at the platform and they're applauded for the amount of money that they give. We also know that when organizations receive money around the corner and around the globe, administration takes somewhere between 15 and 40% of that money for administration. And at no time do you truly see factual reporting. So in other words, you see the people at the United Nations all gathered, all looking prim and proper, and they have no realistic idea of what's happening in the field. And so this mentality of ending poverty, of ending hunger, is not simply just a chicken in every pot, as everybody would have us to believe. So if you look at income from the wealthy nations in comparison to the lean nations, you're going to see that wealth in the minority countries continues to grow, whereas wealth in the lean nations continues to stagnate. And so that means what we're doing is not effective, efficient, or solving the problem. And so what I'm saying is there's time now to link the FAT platform resources to factual results. When I have looked at the United Nations goals for the last 40 years, and I've done, significant level of rework on it, you don't truly, what you see is here's the nice lofty goal, and we've had presentations earlier today on that, but we've not seen factual results. What we've seen is a skirting of the issue, and possible explanations as to why the goal's not being met, and we need more money. What we need to be able to do is move beyond that convincing story to a factual story. That means we have to look at ourselves from the outside in and from the inside out. So it's similar to peeling back a tangerine. And when you peel back the outer skin of the tangerine, you see the segments of the tangerine, but more importantly, you see the connectedness and the interconnectedness, so you can see the sum of the whole. And so rather than standing up at the platform and expressing how wonderful you are and what we're doing, I think you need to now reflect on what the Secretary General has said. Have we opened the gates to hell? And there might be a lot of reality in that statement, because we see massive climate change, we see massive flooding, we see massive fires, and all of this is contributing to our inability to really deal with the factual situation of ending hunger, which is not now in lean countries, it is spreading globally. My challenge is that we need to look at stakeholder engagement at the very essence of the problem. We need to engage people at the very level of the problem to participate in how we're going to measure, how we're going to report, how those fat platform leaders know where they're making a difference, why they're not making a difference, and how they can make a difference beyond the money. And so that comes down to making appropriate and measurable, realistic indicators, not just the word of mouth and what sounds good for a media bite. So part of my strategy today says we really need to identify the objective. Is the objective a chicken in every pot? And that's just my lingo for saying ending hunger by 2030. You know, when they talked about ending poverty back in 2005, it had a ring to it. And a lot of people jumped on the platform and the train took off. Move 15 years ahead, now it's ending hunger by 2030. You know, a message to the UN should be from the world: get a life. What you've set forth is not realistic. More money is being spent on war and warring factions at the global level than it is in ending hunger beyond the money. We need to be able to identify measures, not just on the fat platform commitments and the money, but it's the other steps that they take. We have to identify targets, and we've identified targets. They're nice, lofty, media-savvy targets. They're not realistic. And I think if we all look inward to ourselves, you can shake your head and say, you know, what he's saying is right. They're targets. Are they achievable? No. Are they realistic? No. Are they going to truly happen? No. And so that's why I'm talking about identifying beyond the money initiative. Throwing money at a problem don't always work. You know, as they say growing up, you know, money solves all your problems. No, we all know money don't solve our problems. What it takes is ingenuity. It takes engagement. It takes moving from beyond around the corner to around the world. And so what we have to be able to do is we have to quit talking and we have to begin doing. Now, you know, the person that made this quote, Walt Disney, was in his day visionary for what he established. And if we took that same principle from the minority wealth and applied it directly within the lean environment, we could make a difference and we wouldn't see children with nothing to eat from day to day. And I think that if we went into the field, all of us, and seen what this truly looks like, your life would be shaped forever in a different way. Every time you put a bite of food in your mouth, you'd think. Every time you took food and moved it to the garbage, you would think about the waste. So, here's the goals that the UN have identified: end hunger and ensure access, end all forms of malnutrition, double the agricultural productivity and income, ensure the sustainable food production systems, maintain the generic diversity of seeds, increase investment, correct and prevent trade restrictions and distortions, adopt measures to the proper functioning. Those are all great. Next year, look at what they're actually reporting and what's actually happened. You see no ground level stakeholders in any of the perspective within these targets. What I'm saying is have stakeholder engagement initiatives at the local and regional levels to identify what success looks like and the yearly targets. Ask the people right on the ground, what does ending hunger look like beyond a financial contribution and an applause at the United Nations? Look at the introduction of cooperative central models at the local and regional levels. Look at sponsorship of local and regional cooperative-led initiatives. Look at funding to support local and regional business associations, because it's not just about ending hunger, because you're not going to be able to continually put a chicken in every pot. You need to be able to ensure that the initiatives last beyond today, beyond tomorrow, and going forward. And what I've provided here is just some examples. In 2005, I presented to the international trade in Germany with 2,000 people on how we needed to engage stakeholders. And following that, Emerald Publications put out a series of 5 books on corporate social responsibility with myself and Dr. David Lamond as the editors, and we had an international engagement. And it received great fanfare. However, it didn't shift business from A to B or from point 1 to point 2. And what we've typically seen and continue to see is a surge in we need to do something. And let's take the next 10 years to navel gaze, and we'll report on we had a wonderful navel gazing exercise without a true measure. Now, I come from a minority, fat platformed type of country where our PMO is giving out money like it's rain, but we're not truly seeing how it's having an impact on the bottom line. And what we truly need to be able to do is we need to be able to move beyond sounding great at home and at the UN, so that the majority lead environment can see factual results at the ground level to demonstrate that the tsunami, which is on the horizon, or as I said previously, what the Secretary General has said, that we need to keep the gates to hell closed. And my question is, are the gates to hell slowly opening? We can all make a difference, but we need to act collectively to invite all of the lean stakeholders at the lowest level to identify how we need to measure factual results to end hunger by 2030. Not just talk, we need to see demonstrable concrete results. If we collectively do that, then we can truly make a difference. My legacy going forward is very simple. I want to make a difference where it really counts. I don't want to see starving young children anywhere. I don't want to see starving young mothers anywhere. I don't want to see starving grandfathers or grandmothers or youth anywhere in the world. So we need to go beyond the chicken in the pot. We need to go beyond asking the stakeholders at the bottom of the level how we can make a difference and what we can do to make that difference. And I thank you all for allowing me to present.